Frank Powers, and this is Lifestyle Tucson, the program where I speak to our neighbors, the people behind the scenes of our amazing organizations that are 501c3 nonprofits. Our friends are informing you how they serve our community, and they are here to give you updates on future projects. Let's make some new friends today. Yeah. Cardiac arrests happen at work, in homes, on athletic fields, and in neighborhoods everywhere, and the readiness of our community can be the difference between life and death. 9 out of 10 people who suffer cardiac arrests outside of the hospital die. In most of those cases, bystander CPR was not performed, but we can change this. It's time to unite, take action, and save lives. Our goal is to have one person in every household confident and prepared to perform CPR. The American Heart Association invites you to join the Heart Walk to broaden our impact by turning bystanders into lifesavers. Register now to take the first steps in saving lives. Every walker who joins, every dollar donated means more people trained in life-saving CPR, more research, and more life-saving moments for everyone. And today, I'm fortunate to speak with Michelle Salas, Heart Walk Development Director for the American Heart Association in Southern Arizona. Michelle, welcome to Lifestyle Tucson.
Thank you so much for having me, Frank.
I'm so happy to talk about everything we're going to talk about today, and I'm also happy to meet this very important fixture in the event this year. It's Scott Jensen, survivor drummer at the opening ceremonies at the American Heart Association Heart Walk. Scott, welcome to Lifestyle Tucson.
Thrilled to be here.
I'm very excited to meet you because I was doing some of my research, and the second I was like, wait, what's your last name? And you're like, it's Scott Jensen. I'm like, wait, aren't you the #1 top walker for this event right now?
That's what they tell me, yeah. I'm not trying to be #1. I'm just trying to do a good job.
Well, you're doing the best job, apparently, because you are #1, raising, as of this recording date, over $17,000, $17,800. Your original goal was only 10, and then you hit it. So then tell me what happened when you saw the donations start to kind of peter out.
Well, the interesting thing was I Googled what does the average charity walker earn, and it's $568. And I thought, well, that's baloney. I'm going to do 1,000. And I said, no, I'm going to do 5,000. No, I'm going to do 10,000. So I set the goal 10,000. I wrote my story, and I started to make some early progress. And it got to about 3,000. I got contacted by Southern Arizona Heart Walk leaders, and they wanted me to be a little bit more involved with this. And so I quickly got to 10,000. Interesting thing is, as soon as I got to 10,000, the value of the individual donations started to drop. The $150 donations became $75, $75 became $25. And I upped my goal to 15,000, and the donations went right back up. And then I got to 15,000, and they went down again as individual contributions. So I set 20,000. I got about 30 days left now, and I'm close to 18,000. So I'll probably up it to 25,000.
I bet you do.
Yeah.
So let me ask you right now, what is your story? Tell us your story today.
Well, it's interesting. We talk about heart attacks. I actually had 2 major heart attacks, but did not know it.
Oh.
The analysis of my native heart showed 2 massive bands of major heart attacks, but did not have the anything like that. So,
that happened to my uncle. I found out about the same thing. He had the same issue. We discovered it, that it's like, turns out he had a couple heart attacks. Really? And it was fascinating. So please go on.
Half the heart attacks actually are not experienced as falling down and not breathing and CPR being necessary. CPR is necessary in a lot of situations. I only have one incident where I think we absolutely know it was a heart attack after the fact. I was walking around Green Lake in Seattle on a hot summer's day. It was 78 degrees. I broke out in a massive sweat, massive. My underwear was soaked. My shorts were soaked. My water was just pouring off of my head. And my wife went and got some napkins. They were soaked. And suddenly it stopped. And she said, how do you feel? I said, I feel a little drained, but I'm kind of hungry. Let's go get a burger.
Wow.
And my doctors at Mayo Clinic, where I had a heart transplant in December of 2019, said that was probably a major heart attack. We can't pinpoint the other one, and we don't know if it came before or after this one either. So my story is I was foolishly invincible. I thought I was 63 years old. I weighed a taut 160 pounds. I exercised every day. I didn't smoke. I didn't drink. I still had fun in life, but I didn't do all those other things. And one day,
smoking and drinking is pretty fun. But I'll tell you,
yeah.
walking around Seattle.
Yeah. So we had moved down here from Seattle. and I was one day I just could not catch my breath at all. And against my will, my wife took me to an emergency room where I was diagnosed with stage 4 congestive heart failure. And the doctor turns around and walks out, and my wife and I are both Googling what is stage 4. It's terminal, all these other things. Well, this guy's got to be wrong. I mean, I don't have high blood pressure. My sodium is perfect. I don't have bad cholesterol. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not a drug user. It can't be congestive heart failure. Well, the next day it was confirmed it was congestive heart failure, and I had to have emergency valve surgery. And I had it here in Tucson and at Northwest Hospital, and it didn't work. There's nothing wrong with what the surgeon did or anything. It's just that, my heart was just too far gone. It had grown to about 9.5 centimeters. Normal heart's about 4.5 centimeters in diameter. We got it to shrink back down to about 8.5 centimeters, but then I stalled out. And in September of 2019, they told me here in Tucson that you got about 3 months left to live.
My God.
We're going to send you to Mayo Clinic in Phoenix and see if there's anything that they can do for you. And so I went to Mayo Clinic. I started the evaluation program. The evaluation program for the heart transplant takes about 2.5 months. They go through everything. They're not going to put a good heart into a bad body or a bad mind. You spend a lot of time with shrinks and psychologists and seeing if you're tough enough to go through the regimen. I officially found out on December 23rd of that year of 2019 that I made the list. They told me I was probably going to wait about 6 to 8 months, and within about a month I would be admitted to the hospital. I would be that ill, and they will do everything they can to keep me alive, which I was thrilled with because in September they said you got about 3.5 months left, and we had spent 2.5 months in evaluation.
Right.
So I was getting ready to be admitted to the hospital in about a month, and got the official letter from the United Network of Organ Sharing on December 26th that you've made the list. And then on December 29th, the phone rang, and I picked it up. And I actually thought at first it was one of my friends jacking with me, but the person said that we've got a heart for you. And I said, how is this possible? Well, there's a couple of things in my advantage. I'm a B positive blood type, so if you're an A or an O, you're number 65 or 56 on that list. I was number 5 on the B positive. There's not as many of us. There's like 6.5% of people that are B positive. But then again, we don't die with as much frequency as other people, right? So I was informed that if I didn't take the heart, they'd be wasting a heart. And I said, I'm very confused because they told me I was going to be waiting 6 to 8 months in the hospital. And they said, well, number 1 was out of town. Big mistake. If you're that high on the list, you shouldn't be going anywhere. Number 2, accepted the heart, but called back a few minutes later too afraid, which I don't understand. You have a death sentence, so what are you afraid of? Gentlemen's 3 and 4 were large gentlemen. My donor was 5'9", weighed about 145 pounds, which is my natural weight now.
Okay.
It was just a perfect fit. So called my wife, said, I'm not jacking you around. I'm a bit of a jokester.
Sure, I can tell since we met.
And said, I'm not jacking around. I got a heart. You got to be back here in 5 minutes. She said, I'll be back in 3. She was back in 1. I've always prided myself on being able to respond well under pressure. And I've never been so flustered in my life. Okay, we gotta pack. Do we have suitcases? Where are the suitcases?
Yeah.
And finally drove over to Phoenix. They said you got to be here by about 7 o'clock. Got there at 6:45. And Dr. Steadley, the lead doctor of the cardiac transplant team, came in and said the family's asked for one more night with their loved one. And you're healthy enough, you can do it. I thought there's no way that I'm going to sleep tonight. I slept like a baby.
Wow.
My wife, however, did not sleep at all the entire night. Had the surgery, and I like to call myself Mayo's medical anomaly. I have not had any glitches whatsoever. I've not had back in the hospital for any medication, toxicities, anything like that. My immune suppressant drugs have been pretty stable. Because a lot of times they bounce all around the place the first year. Mine were pretty stable. And I've had a couple side effects of the immune suppressant drugs. Tacrolimus is one of my drugs. It tells my body to not make T cells. T cells would attack the heart as something that doesn't belong here.
Okay.
Tacrolimus has a lot of wonderful side effects. I used to have the best hair in the world. I have very little of it now. I had very active most of my life, so my hips where I'd worn most of the cartilage away. Tacrolimus ate away the rest of them, so I have 2 fake hips now.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm alive to complain about all the little things.
That's the spirit. What a great story, first of all. That was excellent. I'm so glad you're here. That was a lot of circumstances.
There
that
will
it's
be
like,
a test later on.
Oh, I'm writing all this down. I got a number 2 pencil and everything. That is such an example of medical miracles, but boy, there certainly were a lot of odds in your favor when it came to the number of lists, your blood type, all this stuff. What a fascinating story. I'm not surprised that you would see and hear all of this and be like, we got to talk to this guy. And also, you seem like a pretty positive guy. He's being positive nonstop.
He's fantastic.
Right? There you go. I've got that. That means PMA means a positive mental attitude.
I have a pin that says attitude. So attitude determines your altitude.
Yes, well said. All right. And that's my mentality as well with a lot of stuff. And I have a little bit of a heart thing. I found out that I've got some of that pain in the chest. I talk about this whenever I talk to your organization because it is personal to me where there I am. I'm young. I'm in my early 40s. And then it is, turns out you got 50% blockage. Yeah, and they go, we don't worry till it's 70%. And I'm like, really? So then they put me on a statin, right? And then, okay, now you're on this, we're monitoring it. Let's double it up. No, let's double it up. So that's where it is. And I am like very nervous about it because I know that there's probably a stent in my future, and you do what you can to make a difference.
Have they done an echo yet on you?
I don't think so.
Yeah. So I had my echo.
Well, what is that?
Echocardiogram is to look at the way the heart's functioning, and it can remotely determine how much what's the phrase is ejection fraction.
Okay.
If you think about the heart as a pump, some blood comes into it. It actually comes in through the tricuspid valve. It gets then pumped into your lungs through the pulmonary valve. It gets oxygenated. It comes back into the heart through the aortic valve, and then it gets pumped out to the arteries through the mitral valve. So 4 chambers. Echo how much of the heart blood that comes into the mitral chamber gets pumped out, and it can't go dry. It can't be 100%. That's not the way a pump works. So a healthy guy is about 55%. If you've had a heart attack, maybe down to 35-40%. My ejection fraction was down to 9%.
Wow.
They called me the walking dead.
Jeez.
And then when I had the transplant, it went back up to 65%. I woke up and I wanted to slay dragons. I felt fantastic. I can always remember one of the nurses asked my wife, said, "How do you slow them down?" She goes, "It's not going to happen." So I've organized. They asked me, one of the psychologists asked me, "What do you want to do if you get a transplant?" And I said, "I want to start playing basketball again." I organized an old man's basketball league. We play every Friday morning. We play at Tangerine Sky Park in Marana. You got to be somewhere around 6 feet tall, maybe a little bit over, and over 60 years old. And we have an absolute riot. All of us got some kind of injury, but I topped the charts with a heart transplant, fake hips, all that good stuff. So,
that's incredible. Again, really, really something. The way they noticed on me, I might take some. So it's really important to make sure that you're taking care of your heart health, to listen to your body, listen to those signs. Like when you break out into a full sweat, that means something happened, And I'll tell you, for these guys out there, especially you single guys, right, there's a reason that you are the way you are, and then you drop dead if you're single, because you don't have a wife to be like, I care about you. You need to go to the hospital. You're not leaving me behind. And that's what it is. And I notice this a lot, is that sometimes you need that extra person in your life to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. And that goes guy, girl, guy, whatever it is, to make sure that you're nagging that person that doesn't want to do something they want to do, like go to the doctor. It's very important.
Well, I remember asking the doctors at Mayo, said, why was this congestive heart failure a miss? And that was my disease. And congestive heart failure is a 25-year disease. And he says, well, it rarely gets caught in stage 1. Sometimes it gets caught in stage 2, most often in stage 3, but it's terminal. There's not much we can do to stop it. We don't know why it happens. And I said, well, how did mine get missed, get all the way to stage 4? And they said 2 things. You're too healthy. So there was no reason for your doctor to suspect that anything was wrong. You came in once a year for a checkup. You weighed the same. How's your sleeping? I sleep horribly, sleep more, and then you go away. And my blood pressure was perfect, because actually my heart wasn't working very well. It wasn't because I was healthy. It's because the heart couldn't develop much blood pressure. And then the other mistake I made is I had the same primary care physician for 5 years. They said that nothing against any doctor, but you get lazy. If Scott's coming in, he's he's going to be the same every year. We're not really going to be worried about anything. So one of the lessons that I learned out of this is you have to push your doctor to take a lot of things seriously. And you as a young man have to take it seriously too. I read an article in the Washington Post a couple of days ago that there's men in their 20s and 30s, that's where they start to develop their heart disease, and they drop dead in their 40s and 50s, and they think, oh, this just happened. It didn't just happen. It happened in their 20s and 30s, and it's got to get spotted earlier.
Yeah, I believe it, because I've known some people that, like, heart attack at 39 and died. Like, I can't believe it. And I've had some peers go through some stuff as we've all gotten older. We make the old man jokes. You got to make the middle-aged jokes because we're all getting older, and it's a part of it. And sometimes laughter's the best medicine. And if you ain't laughing, you're crying. So that's what you do. You do got to just get together and just kind of laugh about some of the stuff we're all dealing with. But we are all dealing with something. But why don't we talk about this great event that's going to help us deal with all of this together? Because we're all going to get together for this amazing heart walk. Let me give you all the details as I scroll through all of my notes, because I copied them all right there, that it's Saturday, April 18th at Gene C. Reed Park. We're going to be outside of the Demeester Outdoor Performance Center at 900 South Randolph Way. It's going to be a great time. You get all the details by going and checking out the website. It's heart.org is one of the main websites, but you just probably want to Google it, because there are some subsections to find our heart walk and to see Scott Jensen's name right there at the top in top 5 walkers. Top 5 teams, you got the independent walkers ranked in there at 18,000 raised so far. Top 5 companies, Carondelet Health Network is number 1 right there with 33,000 raised. So you could join up, start raising some money, or just go to this great event, because you can get that CPR training. You can visit these tents, get some swag, and get all the stuff. Let's ask Michelle what's going on at this great event and tell me more about it, because I'm excited. I even already got a pair of red shoelaces when we talked about joining the team.
That's fantastic. The event, like you said, Saturday, April 18th, it is a free event. Anybody is welcome to join us. Parents, bring your kids. Doggy parents, bring your dogs, because it is a dog-friendly event. We will be having a puppy adoption that day. And it's just a really great event for all of our community to get together to support heart health, because, I mean, right here, 3 out of 3, we all have heart problems. How crazy is that?
Oh, what are you dealing with?
Yeah, what are you dealing with?
I have a 4-year-old, and at my 37-week appointment, they said, hey, you have really high blood pressure. We need to have this baby right away. You could go into a seizure. You could be hurting the baby. So at 37 weeks, I was diagnosed with preeclampsia, and I had to be induced and had my baby early. She's great. She's fantastic. But as I'm, in my 30s, I do have blood pressure problems. I have a family history of blood pressure and heart disease. And so I really have to take care of myself and my future children, to make sure that I'm practicing healthy habits and I'm showing them healthy habits, because they, it might be in my family and they might get it as well. So it truly affects you. If you can talk to anybody, everyone has a story about heart health and heart disease. We all have a heart, and we all try to take care of it. But sometimes we forget that is one of our most important organs in our body, and we need to take care of it, whether that's by exercising or eating healthy, or not smoking and drinking. So many things, so many ways that affect your heart that go to the rest of your body. Sleeping well might have been a heart issue that you had, Scott, and maybe you didn't know.
I sleep about 4.5 hours a night. Always have.
Sleeping is so important for your heart health. And you know what else is important for your heart health? Having a dog has shown that, yes, that
there
it's
is
good
a
for your
correlation
heart.
between having a dog and heart transplant recovery. The Mayo encourages you to have the dog. Mostly because you get out and you can walk. You got to take the dog out.
Good point.
You get out and walk. Petting the dog really drops your blood pressure.
Yeah.
So, by the way, on blood pressure, my wife says that I don't have blood pressure. I just give it to other people. So I'm a carrier.
Which is why we're having a puppy adoption, because if you don't have one, the Heart Walk is a great time to go grab one.
I got a great pup. Greta, she's a Klein Poodle.
Yeah.
I unfortunately don't have she's a great dog, but not a community-friendly dog. So she is staying home with me and supporting the Heart Walk from our house.
Yeah, I have a goldfish, so his name's Walker.
Walker.
Yeah.
I like it.
Best name for a goldfish. That was the guy's name at the pet store. I was like, what's your name? His name was Walker. And I go, that's the best name for a fish. That's his name now. And it was great.
I love it.
But yeah, that's important. And as you say all that, it is also just probably that responsibility. If you get a dog, it's like getting a kid. It is a lot of responsibility. And I think when you kind of relearn the responsibility of raising someone, it kind of helps you take care of yourself.
Yep.
When you're saying that, when you're paying attention to those meals and you go, I haven't eaten. Like, you really do got to do that and pay attention to that. So the dog walking aspect and just getting that regular exercise of you have to go take care of that dog and walk, and it really does get you out there and moving. I think that's
exercise is very important to me too, because I think you need to honor the donor. I have had the great pleasure of meeting my donor family. It doesn't happen very often. The heart has the highest rate of response of any solid organ transplant, but it's only about 12% of the people get back in touch.
Okay.
The protocol, no matter where you have a transplant, and no matter what organ, you write a letter to the hospital where you had the transplant. They forward it on to the donor network for that particular area, and then they forward it on to the family, and the family decides that they want to get back in touch with you. So I've got in touch with. I finally connected with my family, and they're like another part of my family. Monica, my donor's mom, will actually be joining me at the walk and joining me on stage to help beat the drum.
What a story! Yeah. Tell me about the drum part. Actually, we did gloss over that. I gave you the title, so now you're kicking off the thing this year. You're kicking off the event. This is a new edition.
This is a new addition to all heart walks around the country. We have this big, huge marching drum that we're calling the Survivor Drum. And each city gets to pick one recipient to be the drummer. This year we've chosen Scott. While we have the opening ceremonies, Scott is going to be beating the drum to the beat of his heart, which you said was a little bit faster.
Well, yes, a transplant person does not have a vagus nerve attached to the heart. So my heart runs ungoverned. My normal heart beat is about 110 a minute. So I'm listening to the heartbeat on Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon to make sure I get that.
There you go.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
And then after, the drum is going to be moved from the stage to the survivor finish line, where all of our survivors, regardless of what condition they've experienced, but now they are survivors, get to beat the drum as they go through the finish line, which is going to be very exciting.
I've been working on my Inagata Davida drum solo. But
I got to say, the event itself, are there any more other calls to action you want for the event? Because time's a ticking. Honestly, I can't believe how fast this went. Your story was just so great and really inspiring. I really want people to get involved. If they're not able to get involved this year, obviously get involved any year because you're always doing it. But you're also doing stuff constantly, so there's more ways to get involved. Volunteering is the big thing, but also donating money is the big important thing. Whether you're picking a team or they're just donating to this great organization, nonstop, you should do it. Get involved. How can people donate, or what's the best way for people to do that if it's not at the specific Heart Walk?
Well, you can do it through my...
right. There is that.
Because I want to beat that hospital.
They're
at 33. I'm at 18.
I bet you're going to do it.
You can donate to Scott's page. You can go to the website and donate at www.soazheartwalk.org. Pick a team, pick Scott, make a donation. You can also sign up as well to be a walker and make a donation on your own behalf. I will say something that I didn't mention that is going to be at the Heart Walk is going to be a CPR learning activity.
Yes.
So as we know, 9 out of 10 people who go through cardiac arrest outside of the home don't make it, or outside of a hospital don't make it. And so it's really important. We want to make sure that everybody knows hands-only CPR. It's really easy to learn. There's going to be a hands-only activity for CPR where there will be people teaching everyone, all attendees, CPR. So there's going to be mannequins on the floor ready to go. And every song you'll be listening to while you're at the Heart Walk is going to be the same exact beat that you'll be needing to do hands-only CPR.
Staying alive, right?
Like Staying Alive, that's right. Or if you don't know Staying Alive, which I've been talking to a lot of Gen Zs, they don't know Staying Alive, but they do know Shake It Off by Taylor Swift. So either one will work.
There you go. And you want to shake it off, too. That's always a good advice as well.
That's great.
That's amazing. So it's really important. Again, the CPR is a big part of it. That was why the intro talked about that so much. And it is something that, if we were a village of 100 people, I bet we'd all know CPR. But unfortunately, because we get bigger and bigger and bigger, some things that we can all achieve, they just fall through the cracks. And there's no reason that every family shouldn't have someone that knows CPR and knows that. I forget what story we were telling the last time we got together, where it was a story about someone that they were kept alive because of that CPR for 15 minutes
100%.
of constant CPR. You don't realize that You have another person could switch out. Just teach them how to do it quick because your arms will get tired. You can't do it for 15 minutes, perhaps, if you're an average Joe. So there's a lot to learn, a lot of benefits to going to this great event. So make sure that you do join us for the Southern Arizona Heart Walk on Saturday, April 18th at Gene C. Reed Park. It's at 900 South Randolph Way. It's early, too. I know we're about to hit this heat wave because that's what happens, but it is early. Get out there at 7 a.m. I believe it kicks off at 7:30. Yes.
Kicks off at 7:30.
Yep. So get on there so you can start walking around.
Which means the drummer's got to be there pretty early.
Yes, he does.
Right. Yeah. Okay, that's right. So any last thoughts?
I think one of the things that people, I've gotten a lot of compliments from people about the money I'm raising, but what I'm really trying to do is raise meaning.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see this as just a one-time event. I want to, create the idea that we need to be thinking about this constantly. I've got a group of friends. Mayo used to do a heart transplant support call every Wednesday at 1. They reduced it to once a month in September, and it really upset most of the people in my group. So rather than complain about it, I purchased a Zoom account on my own, and we do our own heart transplant support call. We call ourselves The Beats. We got my own T-shirt, The Beat Goes On.
I love this man.
And, they are kind of my family now, too. We are there for everybody. In fact, several of them are coming over to walk with me. And I got involved with the Tucson Heart Walk here because somebody on the call mentioned, hey, it's anybody doing the Phoenix walk. And I didn't want to drive over to Phoenix for 2.5 hours, do an hour-long walk, and drive back. But I thought, well, is there one here in Tucson? So you Google it, and yeah, there is one. So that's how I ended up signing up. I didn't plan on being the centerpiece. I'm comfortable being the centerpiece, but it's not at the end of the day about me. It really is about meaning, and it's about all of us.
Yeah, and that's a good message. But I'll tell you, as far as a man's concerned, you're quite the cornucopia. All right, you're a centerpiece all day long. I'm thankful you're here. And there's honestly something happened today as we're recording it. I realize I have a note. Is the Move More Challenge kicked off today too?
The Move More Challenge kicked off today.
So that's exciting. Tell me about that real quick as well. No rush, because it's worth mentioning, and it goes with what you're saying there.
The Move More Challenge is for all of our walkers. It's the 30 days before the walk where within your own teams, you're able to compete not only just for how much you're fundraising or how much you're donating, but also how much you're moving. Mm-hmm. You get to enter if you've taken a walk, if you've done exercise, and there's going to be a leaderboard within your team. So you can say, hey, I walked for an hour today, I walked for 30 minutes, and you haven't. I'm better than you.
That's how it works. Sometimes you got to make it a competition, all right? That's a little bit of what gets people motivated. And it tracks it on an app. It's a downloadable app, tracks your steps. That's got to be actually a big fun benefit of modern times. Because even when I do all my events, or you go to Disney World and you go, wow, I walked 22,000 steps. That's 10 miles today. Like, to be able to track your steps now and really see that and now gamify it and use it as an app and make that challenge work, because I am that way. When I see that I'm like, I'm at 9,800 steps, I'm like, well, better get to 10,000. I better just go walk around the block just to do it.
It's fun.
Right, look at him. Oh, there he is. He's
yesterday.
showing me those stats. 26,000 steps yesterday he did. Right? That's what he's doing in his app. Move more. Scott knows the deal. What are you talking about? You got to listen to him. You got to move more because the beat goes on. And it really did go on today. This was a great conversation. I can't thank you enough. Because today we made friends with Michelle Salas, Heart Walk Development Director for the American Heart Association in Southern Arizona, as well as Scott Jensen. He's the top of the board here, the survivor drummer at the opening ceremonies, the American Heart Association's Heart Walk. We hope to see you out there, a relentless force for longer, healthier lives in our community. Thank you both so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much, Frank.
This was Lifestyle Tucson.